Hello and welcome back. So, in the last lecture, we started implementing the login functionality in our Express application. And so far in the login route handler function, we have added two checks. The first check is we are checking if with the request body, we have received an email or password or not. And if the email and password exist in the request body, we are checking with the given email if a user exists in our users collection or not. Now, if a user with the given email exists in the user collection, the next thing which we need to do is we need to compare the password. So with the request body, we are also going to receive a password value, right? So we need to compare that password which we are receiving with the request with the password which we are saving in the database. So this is the next check which we are going to add in our login functionality. So let's go to VS Code. And after we have found the user with the given email, the next thing which we are going to do is we are going to check if the provided password matches the user's password which we have found with the given email. Now keep in mind that in the database, we are saving a hashed password like this. And in the request, we are going to receive a plain password like this. So now we need to think how we can compare this plain password with this hashed password. And for that, again, we are going to make use of bcrypt library. Now, if you remember, we have learned that once a string value is hashed, you cannot get the original string out of a hashed string. And we also learned that two same string values are going to generate the same hash. So in order to compare the plain password which we are providing with the hashed password, what we are going to do is we are going to convert this plain password to the hash value. Now, when we were generating the password, we also added a salt to it. So when we add a salt to a hash value, basically it makes sure that no two same string value generate the same hash. But when we have generated the hashed password, in that hashed password, we have all the information to convert this plain text to the same hash. So we know that we have used bcrypt algorithm because this 2b represents one of the revisions of bcrypt algorithm. Then for salting the password, we have used the cost factor as 10 and we also have a salt value. So all the information which we need in order to convert this plain text to a hashed password, same as this one, we have all the information in this password, the saved password. Okay. Now let's go back to VS Code. And since we want to compare the plain password with the hashed password, what we are going to do is we are going to create an instance method. So let's go to user model. And on that user model, we are going to create an instance method. That means whenever we are going to create an instance of user model, on that instance, that method will be available. And remember that all the user documents which we create or retrieved from the database using the user model, they are all the instances of user model. So the method which we are going to create now, the instance method, that will be available on all the user documents. Now to create the instance method on the user model, again on the user schema, we have a property called methods, and on that we can create a method and we can call this method anything. Here I'm going to call it as compare password. Okay, and to this I'm going to assign an async function, and here I'm going to use the arrow function syntax, and this function should receive the password which we want to compare. So basically the password which we are receiving with the request, the plain password, and then it should also receive the saved password in the database. So I'm going to call it as saved password. And now using the bcrypt algorithm, so again I'm going to use the bcrypt package here. On that we have a compare method. And to this compare method, we are going to pass the password, the plain password which we want to compare with the saved password in the database. Okay. Now this compare method, it is going to return a Boolean value. If it returns true, that means the password and the saved password are same. But if it returns false, that means password and saved password do not match. So that Boolean value we are going to return from here. Now this compare method is going to work in the same way as I just explained. So it is going to check this saved password. In that saved password, we have all the information like which algorithm was used, what was the cost factor, and what is the salt string. And based on this information, this compare method is going to convert this plain password to a hash string. And if that hash string is equal to this one, in that case, the compare method is going to return true, otherwise it will return false. So this is how internally the compare will work. Let's save the changes. And now we are going to call this method in our auth controller. So here we have a user document. So this user, it will be an instance of a user model. This find one method, in this case, since we are using it on the user model, it is going to return us a user document. And that user document is going to be an instance of user model. Okay, and that instance we are assigning to this user variable. So we can say that this user variable is basically an instance of user model. And on that user model, so here I'll say user dot, and on that we should have a method called compare password. Okay, this is the method which we have created on the user model. So we are calling it as compare password. Let me just copy it and paste it here just to avoid any spelling mistakes. And again, this function is an asynchronous function. If you see here, so it is going to run asynchronously. Let's await it here. And this function, it is going to return us a Boolean value. So here I'm going to create a variable. I'll simply call it as isMatch. So this isMatch will be true if the password which we have received with the request and the saved password are same. So to this compare password, I'm going to pass this password variable, basically the password value which we are reading from the request body. So that will be the first argument. And as the second argument, we also need to pass the password which is saved in the database. So this user document, it will have a password field. So we are going to read the value of that password field, and that we are going to pass as the second argument. So this password is storing a hashed value, but this password, it is storing a text value, a plain text. This one we are receiving in the request body, and this password is the password which is saved in the database. And we want to compare these two passwords. All right, now here we are going to check if isMatch is false. So this isMatch will be false if the password and the saved password is not matching. So here I'm going to use this not operator. So if the password do not match, in that case, again, I'm going to create a new error using our app error class. And there I'll simply say password do not match or password is not correct. Okay. And here I'm going to send a 403 unauthorized response. So I'm setting the status as 403. And then again, let's call the next middleware in this tag. To that, let's pass this error object. And from here, let's simply return, because we do not want to execute any further code if the password which the user has provided does not match with the password which is saved for that user in the database. Let's save the changes here and let's go to Postman. And we know that we have a user johnsmith@gmail.com in our users collection, but for that user the password is test1234. If I specify the password as test12345 and if I send this request, in that case we should get that error password is not correct. So basically the user was found, but the password which we have specified for that user, that is not correct. But if I say password is test1234, this is the correct password. So now if I send the request, in that case we should get the response. So in the response we are getting the test token. So in this way, we have done all the checks which we need to do before authenticating the user. So now, since a user with the given email exists and for that user, the password is also matching, then we are going to create a JSON web token and we are going to send it in the response. And for that, what we can do is, in the sign up function, we have already written that logic. So we can simply copy this code and we can use it there. But since we are going to use this same code at multiple places, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a function here, a reusable function. So at the top before the sign up function, I'm not going to export this function. We will simply create this function and use it inside this auth controller. And I'm going to call this function as sign token. And here I'm going to use arrow function syntax. And for this function, we are going to receive the user ID because in the payload, we are just adding the user ID, right? And now I'm going to copy this logic from here. I'm going to paste it here. And from here, we are simply going to return the token which will be created by this sign method. So instead of storing it in a variable and then returning it, I'm simply going to return that value from here. Okay. And here to this user ID, since we do not have any new user inside this sign token function, to this user ID, we are going to assign this user ID which we are receiving in the parameter. Okay. And rest other things will be same. So let's save the changes and now let's go ahead and let's call this sign token function wherever we want to generate a JSON web token. So first of all, we want to generate it here. So here I'm going to call that sign token function, and to this sign token function, we need to pass the user ID, and that user ID we are going to get from this new user. So here I can say new user, which is going to store a user document dot underscore ID, and that's it. Let's save the changes here. And let me also copy this line, and same thing we are going to do inside the login function. So here where we want to generate a token, there also I'm going to create a token variable. Okay. And to create the token variable, we are calling this sign token function. Now here we do not have this new user variable. Instead, we have this user variable. So if a user with the given email is found, this user variable will be assigned with that user document. So on that user document, we are going to access its underscore ID property, and that we are going to pass to this sign token method. And this sign token method, it is going to return us a token, a JSON web token. This we want to send in the response. So this is how we are going to send it in the response. So let's save the changes now and let's go back to Postman and let's test if everything is working as expected. So first, I will not specify any email here, and then I will send the request. In that case, we should receive a response. Email is not provided. That is correct. Let's get back the email, but this time I'm going to remove the password and send the request. So in this case, we should receive this response. Password is not provided. Now let's specify the email and password both. But let me specify a wrong email, an email with which we do not have a user in the database. In that case, if I send the request, we have received this error message, user with given email is not found, which is again correct. Now let me specify a valid email, an email with which we have a user, but let me specify a wrong password. Let's say test12345. In this case, the user will be found, but for that user, the password will not match. So if I send the request, in that case, we have received this response, password is not correct. But if I specify a correct email address and a correct password associated with that email, and now if I send the request, this time we should also get a JSON web token in the response. So if I send the request, you see, we have received a token in the response. And as we have learned before, as soon as the client receives an access token from the server, we can say that the client is authenticated. So now this user with email ID johnsmith@gmail.com, this user is authenticated now. And whenever this user wants to access a protected route on the server, he can just use this JSON web token with the request. And we will see how we can use this JSON web token for accessing the protected route from our next lecture. But as we have learned, as soon as the client receives the access token, we can say that the client is authenticated. So here, this user is authenticated. And along with status and token, you will also notice that in the response, we are also receiving the user data. So here we can see the first name of the logged in user, the last name of the logged in user, the email of the logged in user, and so on. But you will also see that in the response, when we are getting the user data, there we also have the password. And we can see the hashed password of the user. So we should not send the password of the user in the response. Okay, so here what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the model, and there for the password field, I'm going to set select to false. Okay, let's save the changes. And now if I go back to Postman, let's see what happens if I make the request. So if I send the request, you will see that we have an error, and it says internal server error, and it says illegal argument string undefined. So somewhere we are passing undefined as an argument, and this undefined we are passing as an argument here. Because now what is happening is, since in the model we have set the select as false for the password field, when we are fetching the user document, in that user document we will not have the password field. So in that case, this user.password will be undefined. Okay, so here to resolve the issue, what we are going to do is inside this login function we need the password field. So for that, here when we are querying the document using this find one, after that we can also use this select method, and there we can specify that when it is querying the documents from the collection, a user document from the collection, at that time it also needs to query the password field. But this we are going to do only inside this login function, because in the login function we need the value of the saved password in order to compare it with the password which we have received with the request. But in other route handler functions, so for example, let's say we have a route for getting the details of the user. So there, when we will get the details of the user, there we do not want to get the password of the user with the details. So for that, since in the model we have set select to false, the password will not be queried with the user detail. But here in this function, since we need the password field in order to compare it, here we are explicitly selecting the password. So with this, if I save the changes and if we make the request, first of all, this issue we will not get, and we will have the password field in the response. But here that is not an issue, because from the login request, we are not going to send the user details in the response. So I'm going to remove this from here. Once a user is successfully logged in, we are just going to send the access token in the response and not the logged in user detail. So that's why here that is not a problem. And here we can explicitly select the password field using this select method. But in other route handler function where we are going to read the details of the user, we might not want to send the password of the user with the detail. So for those route handler functions, since we have already set this select to false, the password will not be selected when we are going to query the user documents. I hope you got this point. With this, if I save the changes and if we go back to Postman, and now if I make a request, we should only get the status and the token in the response. And now the client has to save this token somewhere, so that for the next requests which it is going to make to access a protected route, it will send this token with the request header. And that we will see how we can do that in our coming lectures. All right, so in this way, we have also implemented the login functionality in our Express application. And using this login functionality, the user can authenticate himself whenever he wants to. And on successful authentication, he will have access to the protected routes. Now, from the next lecture, we are going to work on implementing authorization in our Express application. This is all from this lecture. If you have any questions from this lecture, then feel free to ask it. Thank you for listening and have a great day.